DJ Show. Zvanga zviri downtown uptown raitidzwe nyaya dzacho dzese narrative ndaichidwe kana mchida kutipisa deep ndaipidwe make you spill a bean if you know what I mean Andy.
It's time!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the hottest show on YouTube, the Denny J Show. We're back. Unfortunately, Ranji couldn't make it for today's interview. Today is a very special interview that we have. I'm going to introduce my guest just now. What I want to talk about, first of all, is we appreciate all the support you guys are giving us. You're watching the channel. The subscribers are going up. Everything seems like it's on point. However, I think we have a disparity in terms of the number of views that we're getting and the number of subscribers. So please, like, subscribe, show us your love. That way, it keeps us motivated to bring you the best content that we can give to you. Our subscribers are going up, right? Producer, Pilos, our numbers are all right?
Yeah, we're good. We're good for now, but we need more though.
Yeah, there's so many people viewing our channel, but very few are subscribed. So, just show us some love. Every time you click the like button, it tells us that you like what we're doing, right? So please like, subscribe. It does something to us. It's like you just giving us a fist bump to say what you're doing is cool. Isn't that right, producer?
Yes, we appreciate the love.
That's it, man, yeah. Today, Nash, I think for this guest right here, I think we have to do a nori. We have to do a nori on this one, right?
No, this is the legendary.
Yes.
The first ever.
That's right. My next guest
Your hero
is an icon.
No, our hero.
A living legend. If a pig had to be put in front of the word legend in the dictionary, this guy's face would be in contention.
That's right.
He's the only radio TV personality to ever speak to God.
Yes.
On his mobile phone. Come on now. Ladies and gentlemen. The one, the only, Tich Mataz. Yes, sir. How you doing, Tich Mataz?
Denny J in the building. What's happening?
What's up, fam?
What's happening?
Come on,
Nash, my man.
That's right.
Good to see you, man. But we have an enemy in the house, Lords. You and I have been, back and forth fighting for the number one, the number one position in the business. So it's gonna be do nasi. It's gonna be serious.
I'm an elder.
Showcase.
Respect elder. Respect every time.
Enough love. Let me give you guys a backstory. When I started the business, I was a little older than this young man in the studio today. And I used to hang out with a tall, handsome young man. He used to be shy then, before he even called himself Denny J. He's come and hang out in my studio, you know what I mean? And I would literally take him through the paces, how the business goes, you know what I mean? And I told him how to handle, the finer things in life, you know what I mean? One time he came to my house and he saw a Gucci t-shirt. Now, he didn't understand that in Italy, when you pronounce the letter C, it's not C, but it's Ch. So it's Gucci, not Gucci. Shots fired! Oh. Shots fired!
Come on now.
But I just want to say that in this building here today, they're my family, it's my brothers, from day one. We've been through all kinds of stuff. We've stood together. We have hustled together, and I'm glad to be here. Salutations.
So do we still have to pay you for this station?
Speak to Nash, my lawyer.
Yeah. Why would the teacher
after that speech?
10K, and that's at a discount. Yeah.
It's great to have you, man. Tich is everybody's big brother, right?
Young man.
If
somebody from the president's office is calling, just tell him I'm busy with Danny J right now.
My man.
Do you know what I mean? And that man has got to do what a man has got to do.
So, me and Tich and,
tell him to come through.
The rest of
the party.
The rest of the fam, we've known Tich for a long time, man. This guy's been a legend. all his life, I guess. You know, since 1988, the guy's been disturbing the peace. First at Radio 3, which is now 3FM for you young cats. And then he moved on to South Africa. And he
Power
done
FM.
so much. Yeah, now it's Power
He's from
FM.
the old school too, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm from the old school, but not as old as this dude. Man. Straight. So Tich, how you been, bro?
I've been good. I want to say that we got into the business when things were still very, very scarce. When radios were important devices
Right.
in a home. They used to be the center of entertainment. You know, people used to gather around a radio set. It means wireless. Do you know what I mean? Family
Straight.
members would sit there. It was the only form of communication. And once in a while, you know, analodza and kesha waitoka kainza color TV. Saka rain race. Waigeza kuma 5 so.
Uziva.
Uzora mafuta manya wenda ugara mumba. Zonzi nyarai.
Tempest.
Muchi.
Muna-
He knows what I'm talking about. WRS, you know what I mean? Mas radio.
Munachiratidzo road for us. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we have transcended the different phases of communications as we know it. And I'm glad to be sitting here today because a similar setup like this would cost you back in the 80s and 90s $10, $20 million.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nowadays, people can do all kinds of stuff on just a little device called a cell phone. So
Straight.
It's good to be alive and to have participated and experienced all manner of technological advancements.
Right. You know what I did in my spare time?
Yeah.
Of course, I Googled you because, you know, it's important when we come
And you
to the
believed
show.
everything you read?
You know what I'm saying? I got to act like I know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So I looked up the word legend because, you know, everybody calls you legend. Right. So I wanted to make sure, like, are you really a legend? Like,
Okay.
So I got the definition. An extremely famous or notorious person. Now, especially in a particular field.
Okay.
So of course, Tich is famous. There's also a bit of notoriety.
No. It's
Notoriety.
Nice guy.
Notoriety. We're going to talk about that later on, right? Like, so indeed, you are a legend, and you've done so much in terms of broadcasting, television, and radio. Very few people, if any. I don't recall anyone who's actually done what you've done in terms of radio and TV with what you did when you were in South Africa. So, you know, we appreciate, you know, the person you are. You know what I'm saying? You are truly a legend. And,
Thank you. Thank you very
you know
much.
what I'm saying? Applause, right? We have to. So, of course, it's probably going to be a long interview, but let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
We know Tich Mataz from 1988. You understand? But you were born in 1969, right? And that makes you old. That makes you old. All right, let's leave it there. 1988.
I'm a little like wine. I'm mature, you know what I mean?
That's right.
But,
That's right. So tell us about where you came from, because you just popped up and you took over everything. 1988, 3FM, Radio 3. I don't know what they called it back then.
Yeah, Radio 3.
Radio 3. Yeah.
So let me give a bit of perspective. Zimbabwe was at war from 60s, 70s.
Right.
1980, we were awarded our independence. We became an independent state.
Right.
At that time, there was a transition within the broadcasting industry where we were moving from what predominantly was a white medium to a black medium.
Straight.
Now, you've got to understand that between 1978 and 1980, the highest number of blacks were in the rural areas.
Straight.
Okay? So one of the things was some of the broadcasters who had participated in the struggle as information mediums, you know, your Charlton Dovos were ministers back in the day, they then came and were wanting now to get white broadcasting relevant to black people.
Straight.
Okay? So the first team of young broadcasters were trained by the BBC because we were an extension of the colonial system.
Right.
RBZ, RBC, Rhodesia Broadcasting Corporation, was an extension of BBC for colonial historical facts and so on. You know what I mean? Okay. We were colonized by the British. However, what was happening, what is integral, I want people to understand this, is the mindset of black people was now being shifted from rural to urban. So the metropolis was eager to now begin to entertain the black mind and its aspiration to be urban. You know, Saka the first crop, and John Matinde and Abu Sichindo were the first crop of media stars, because for the very first time, young black personnel was beginning to speak to others and inspire and mold and showcase what it meant to be free, to be independent, to be progressive, and to want to be like the rest of the world. Right.
Okay.
And the main influence on radio at that time was WBLS. Loads of you know this. WBLS was one of the most famous radio stations in the States. A very similar background, because even in the States then, most of the media houses were owned by white affiliated media houses. Then WBLS was an agreed platform that was used for black people. And with it, you know, it brought about some serious superstars, much like what Radio 3, which became 3FM and now is Power FM, did at the time of our independence.
Right.
Make sense?
Yes. So the breakthrough for you.
Yeah.
How did you end up in 1988 at the hottest radio station at that time?
As a young boy who grew up in Highfields, one of the things I wanted to do is, I said, the center of attraction for any house was the widest, was the WBLS radio player. And whenever I used to listen to the radio, to listen to Josh Makawa, Peter Jones and them, and I was a young boy, I was 14, 15 years old, I used to think that these guys operated from a spaceship. It must have been a spacecraft, man. I mean, and I wanted to be in there. I wanted to be part of this team. So, as God would have it, Kurain Gwadaigara, 2 lines away from me, Kulusaka or Guy-Frieds, Ndokwaigara, Josh Makawa. So you know how it is when you got initiated into the business at the time. We talk about records. We talk about crates. We talk about crates and my DJ. Now, like you did for me, Denny, you remember? Did you guys know this? I got to talk about crates and my records. So that's what I did. I did that for Josh Makawa. He got me into the business. I did it for other people as well, including DJ Biscuit, Minister
Mighty Biscuit,
my elders. So I did my rounds, and I was an apprentice with these guys for a minute. So what really got me into radio was, you know, Kufio, there were 3 types of people that inspired the youth. Kwangu Mbava. You know that. Or in this case, entertainment. So I decided, listen, let me go with Josh. Josh became my mentor for many years. You know what I mean? Family, we became one family, and that's how I got into the business.
Oh, nice. So the breakthrough for you, how did it happen? You started off working in the back room at the radio station?
Yes, at the radio station. I was a little too young, and it was so important then to have a certain type of pedigree as a broadcaster. You had to speak well.
Yes.
You had to think on your feet. You had to be an axiom of the things that drove the Zimbabwean new Zimbabwe identity at the time. So only a very few people were given the opportunity to actually work in front of the microphone. So when I initially was taken to the radio station as a young man, 15, 16 years old, this boy is too young. Let me hang around in the library, you know what I mean? And one lucky day, I can't remember who it was, but they used to allow for young people, you know, to hang out in the studio as standby DJs in case somebody was late or something needed to be played of a reel-to-reel then, or Revox tape, things you don't know about.
Tich is very animated. I think the microphone needs to be closer.
It needs to be. Oh, you can't hear me.
Dude, like animated, man.
I got to eat the mic.
Yeah.
So one fine day, the guy was meant to come in at the radio station for a shift. They didn't come.
Right.
And Kudzi Marudza, who was head of the library, then called me in and said, Tich, just sit in there, sit around, don't touch the microphone. Just play the music and the ads.
Right.
And, Tich being Tich.
Tich being Tich.
Tich being Tich. Buddy, hello, what's happening? My name is Tich Mataz.
What a
disturb the peace, babe.
Right.
But I don't go pin them system.
And the rest is history.
Rest is history.
Wow. Where's Kudzi? I haven't seen Kudzi in a long time.
Yeah, man.
That's one of the coolest cats.
He's been at it since day one. And I got to say that it's something I want to talk to the nation using your platform.
Yeah.
I don't think that what we do for the industry is good enough.
Right.
These are individuals and personalities who became the fulcrum of who we are as a state. They represent us. They flew the flag. They were our voice when we needed a voice.
Yeah.
And, the industry is very fickle. You can be hot today, can be cold and out tomorrow.
True.
And we are not doing enough. Yeah. They should have medical cover, funeral cover. They should have investment portfolios. We must institutionalize this industry.
Straight.
Can I get an amen?
Yeah, man. Amen, man.
Amen.
Yeah. So, is Kudzi around?
Yeah, he's around.
No, that's my guy, man.
Yeah. Hey, let's hang out with him like next weekend or something.
Yeah, we must. Huh?
Yeah,
you got his number, right? We must.
Yeah, I got
that's my man right there, man. Man. So. You did your thing at Radio 3 FM, Power FM, whatever they call it now. And then you ended up in South Africa. And in South Africa, that's where you became like this mega star. Tell us about that transition from Power FM, how you got the opportunity to end up in SA, and how you ended up taking over that whole industry in terms of broadcasting, television, and so on.
Salutation to Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe has prepared people mentally as well as in terms of school and education more than any other African state, without a shadow of a doubt. Right. I'm sure you read the other day that one of ours is now vice president of Google.
Yes.
We have Zimbabweans at NASA. We have Zimbabweans at the World Bank. Yes. We have Zimbabweans at some of the highest levels all across the world. Why? Because it's our mindset. Yeah. We're able to adapt. We're able to learn quickly.
Yes.
We are able to assimilate. When I think it's a blessing from God, I've always been able to adapt. I started traveling at a very young age, and that just opened up my mind. I mean, we're talking of some of the experiences in the UK and the States, etc. And at the time, very, very few people would travel, would go out of the country. I had a friend of mine who was in Botswana. And at the time, you'd capture people's shows, Bakaset, TDK, Sony, 120 and 90, C90.
Teach could I go to show teach problem because the guy was just talking the whole time.
I talk all the time.
You had to record and then be on standby to pause.
Because
like it is, what it is.
Guys all over the place. Come on. Give guys a break, nigga. We're trying to record this shit.
So what happened is one of my friends used to do, I know it's my piss job, ku Botswana first.
Right.
So he then said to me, he went to a party, and people used to do this, huh? Right. They used to go to a party and then stick a CD. No, not a CD, before CDs. Yes. A cassette. A cassette. Yes. Mu WRS radio. What do a party?
For those young viewers who don't know what a cassette is,
please
Google that.
Just TDK.
I know it looks like a strange contraption, but it used to work. The Maxell,
I know what I'm talking about.
They were big, man. Yeah. You know.
Chrome Chakuti.
The Chrome Chakuti. And the Dolby sound reduction.
Exactly.
Yeah. So he took my tape. They went to a party. They started playing my tape at a party. And there was an influential person at that time. He was the head of Radio Botswana, Tapelo Tipe, big boss man.
Where was this party? In South Africa?
It was in Bots.
In Bots. Oh, yeah, straight.
So some guy said, hey, I heard some nigga from Zimbabwe, you know what I mean, doing some crazy stuff on radio. What's his name? So they then realized it's Tich Mataz, who is currently on Radio 3 at the time. And I kid you not, I was actually on radio when Tapelo Tipe phoned me.
Right.
Hello, baby, what's your name? Where you calling from? And what's your message?
Yo.
No, but I was going, hello, this is Tapelo Tipe. I'm looking for Tich Mataz. Like, this is Tich Mataz. What is your dedication? So, comrade, take me off air.
Yo.
You know,
Wow.
so I couldn't believe it. He offered me a gig right there and then. He says, listen, come through, we'll pay for everything. We'll fly you to South Africa, fly you to Botswana. Come and check us out. At the time, Radio Bop was the Radio 3 of South Africa. Remember, South Africa was still under apartheid.
Right. There was no YFM.
No, none of them. Metro FM was there. It was under SABC, but there were specific things which you couldn't do on Metro FM.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Okay. And you were able to express yourself on Radio Bop because Radio Bop was not under.
Right.
It wasn't a government institution per se.
Right.
And at the time, the big voices were Bob Mabena, you know, Zandlen Zalo. These were the big radio names on radio in South Africa. So Bob Mabena had just left the drive show from Radio Bop and gone to Metro FM. And they needed a top, you know, hot voice to cover that gap.
Right.
And Tich Mataz, baby.
You know, holla.
Holla, baby.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Denny, Tich, time frames, please. We need time frames. What year is this? 1988?
Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off.
But Denny, Google, I don't know what you Google.
I want to Google, but introductions were from you because you know.
Oh, okay.
Google, no bias.
Okay, so 1987, 88, I was on Radio 3.
Yes, must be 94, right?
Yeah, 94 was South African independence. I went there end of 1990 to 91.
Right. Okay.
Okay, and then I was on. I was on Radio Bop for 2 years. Then I became the first black DJ on what was predominantly the most listened to station in South Africa.
All right, applause. All right.
It was called Radio 5.
Radio 5, okay.
And I did some crazy things there.
You disturbed the peace.
Yeah, man. I mean, they didn't know I hit them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you were in South Africa from, was that what did you say? Bop, you went to Bop in 1993, 94?
Yes. No. I went to Bop 1991.
1991?
Yeah.
So these Google cats need to update this.
Yeah, they need to update this stuff.
1991, you were at Bop.
I was at Bop.
And then you moved on to...
1993, I then moved on to 5
FM.
Yeah.
And
end of 93 going to 1994. Because when I was going into 5 FM, that's when Mandela was also coming out. That's when South Africa was now becoming independent. So I started off as I know you're going to ask me this question. Everybody does. What happened to you in South Africa? So I was a resident in the then Botswana, which was almost like an independent state in South Africa because of apartheid. So everybody who was then in the independence homeland states, they used to call them, at independence, they became South Africans.
So what is it called today?
It's called the Northwest Province.
Oh, so it was like a separate...
Yes.
So you had your own. If you wanted to go there, you do your own paperwork for that.
Yeah, for that
state.
particular, it was under the president was Mangope.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And then, so it was
Interesting South African history. A lot of people don't know about. Do you know?
No idea. We're getting to know about it because of you.
Schooling us.
School time.
So in 1994, you joined 5FM, right?
1993, yeah. 1993, yeah, because I remember when Nelson Mandela came out of jail, I was on air. So
Nice.
I was on air.
Right.
And I was talking to the South African nation,
Right.
saying that freedom has finally come to South Africa.
Applause that.
Applause, everybody.
Yeah, applause. Yeah, applause.
So, I mean, like, here's a guy who's come from the rough neighborhood of Highfield, and then you're suddenly put in the middle of South Africa, and you happen to be at that time the man. I mean, like, how did that feel for you, and what was that experience like for you?
I've been around for a minute now, so I want to say that 3 things I've learned from that experience. One, that it was never me. It's God's grace. You know, God can allow for you to be at a certain place at a certain time. You know,
Favor.
Favor.
Amen to that.
Amen to that. So favor. 2, the thing that people struggle with is doing things differently.
Right.
People can teach you that to drive a car, you need to drive a car in this way. But sometimes the way that you were taught to drive a car can be a limitation, you know? And in order for you to do better and more intrinsic things with the vehicle, they'll then call you in and uneducate you and give you more reasons and technicalities that will allow for you to understand how to then raise your level of delivery.
Right.
So one of the things I'm grateful of is I'm able to learn quick. You know, I went to South Africa, learned the language, learned the culture. I literally became like part of the South African society. But also, business is business. Right. Commerce, it's what are you selling and who's buying. Mm-hmm. You know, the economy of any job, the economy of Denny or of any kind of institution is based on understanding what is being sold and who is buying.
Straight.
And one of the things I was able to understand was the broadcasting institutions in Africa. What were they selling and who'd be buying and how can one make money from that?
Right.
Outside of your 30-day insulting sum of money called a salary.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If I answered you, Lodza.
So
go ahead.
For those who don't know, Tich blew up. He was so big at the time when he was in South Africa. You bought a mansion in, I think, Northcliffe it was. Yeah. You ran a very popular night spot in Rosebank.
Yeah.
And you were basically just running the show. You know what I'm saying? And this is a guy from Fio. Oh, boys Fio right
Marusaka lines.
Why do I represent for everybody? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because like you know, you change the perception of what Zimbabweans can do, and you know, you did big things back then. You understand? And you know, we still look at that and say, like, from what I've seen, is I don't think there's anybody who's gone to that level that you went to at that time. And it's unfortunate. Like, let's talk about your unceremonious exit out of South Africa.
Like I said, you know, when you grow up, you understand the perspective. You begin to see things from an eagle's viewpoint.
Right.
Denny J, if some guy from Malawi comes into this country and
Bushiri.
if Bushiri comes through and takes over the marketplace,
right?
You know what I mean? And then he becomes the hottest guy on TV and all kinds of things. The very nature of the Zimbabwean or any kind of human being. One time often said, "Go Ndian Blazi." Some of say, "Go apare mumu anugona kuita zvanoita iye."
Right. You ruffled some feathers.
I ruffled a lot of feathers, and even though I had favor in some of the highest offices,
Right.
the thing I should have been able to understand and appreciate, there's a good mambo wenyika ino akaenda kune imwe nyika chi mutorwa.
Mambo muranda kumwe.
Yeah, that's the Shona saying. Mwana wa mambo muranda kumwe. So ndakasvika nekuspakwa nekuti unenge uchiri mufana mari ichiflowa, you know. I mean, at one time
my baby.
of course kundokaendere nyacho. I was not able to read what was happening within my surroundings.
Right.
Saka, a lot of people, although I was excited, I was happy, I was doing well. Yeah. Others were not, and I could have handled. Yeah, I was a young cat. Yeah, killing it. I could have done things very differently. I should have. I could have. But then again, it ain't over until it's over, baby.
Right.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So I want to dwell on that a little bit more. In 1994, according to my research, you were issued a work permit, which was supposed to expire the following year, on the 31st of March 1995, to work at BOP Broadcasting.
Yeah.
It is alleged that from 1995 to 1998, you worked illegally in SA. Why couldn't you just extend your stay?
Okay. Let me ask you a question. It's my turn now. I was a millionaire at 25 years old. Right. I was living in South Africa. I was US dollars, not rand.
Towers.
US dollars.
This is US dollars.
Nafali.
US dollars. I was flying all over the place, you know. At the time, I went everywhere. I went to Jamaica just to see where Bob Marley had been born. I went to his shrine. I went to his museum because Dandre Kesha. You know what I mean? I went to see Michael Jackson do his official. This was his last international concert, the history tour in Prague. Dandripo. Yeah. Before I even met Michael Jackson in Zimbabwe, I met him there.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Well, I haven't done any shots. I haven't done any shots today. Yo.
So I was really privileged to do some crazy things when I was young. If a guy is doing well, he's making money, why on earth would anyone who's succeeding and making a killing at whatever he's doing at that time, why would I want to buy something? Or remember you said I went in legally. Why would I want to turn my legal status into an illegal one?
Straight. That's the question. Tell us.
But sometimes it's not up to you, is it?
Right. So, okay, so I think maybe we're alluding to the fact that there was some politics at play in the background.
Yeah, there's politics, definitely. It doesn't matter. It's a long time ago.
Right, yeah. But I mean, this is what made you. I mean, like, when we look at you, we cannot separate South Africa.
I understand.
Because you were bigger in South Africa than you were even in Zimbabwe. Yeah. You understand? You went and you took over that spot.
I want to add something to that. The South African government recognizes our industry as an institution.
Right.
Okay. Which therefore, even as they address whether it's radio stations or it's the arts, the fields of entertainment, etc., including the sports fraternity, it appears within the annual fiscus. There's a budget to it. It's a seed that needs to be planted in order for there to be a bumper harvest of success, sporting stories, your musicians, amapiano, whatever it is. It is a movement by a people to buttress their culture and make it relevant. It is so in America, isn't it? Hollywood is an extension of the propaganda system of the Americas.
Right.
China today is starting to do the same. So is Bollywood. Even the Nigerians have understood what it means to place this market, which we take so flippantly in Zimbabwe. Whereas these are the specific vehicles that one can begin to use to push a narrative or to educate and so on. You understand? You get today, you get some Nigerian artist featuring on American superstar tracks. Yeah. Why is that?
But do you not feel like maybe Nigerians have it better than us because our population is sitting on 15 million? The Nigerians, I mean, no, that population is crazy. Same with South Africa. We're looking at about 55 million people.
Yeah, but I understand, but it's not always about the numbers, is it? It's also about the mentality. Examples are Malaysia. It's a very small state. Singapore, these are small states. Huh?
Right.
But how come...
Cote d'Ivoire.
Yeah, Cote d'Ivoire, these are small states.
Right.
Yeah. Dubai, small states.
Right.
Yeah, but they understood. They understand how it is to play at the highest level internationally.
So what do you think our problem is? Because like if you look at all these artists, they release music on the daily. There's nowhere first of all to buy CDs if you want to buy any of these guys' CDs. There's no distribution.
Denny J, right now, I want to say this, and this is out of all due respect. Denny J and Mariake. Outside kunechi M5 kude kaladini yakapakwa kunzoku imari yake munzwere imari yake and no, but it's for real, you know what I mean? You're my fam like that. Right. So I mean I'm gonna call it out, man, for what it is. Muna aga realize although he's talented, he's in the media and so on, but he's also a very, 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 very clever businessman. Yeah? But not all talented people are business people.
Straight.
Yeah? Out of all due respect, Enzo Aishel, extremely talented.
Right.
But it's a struggle. So Isusu Manje, as a nation, as a country, you've got to be able to recognize that.
Right.
Yeah? If this is a clarion call to the Ministry of Sports and Culture.
Right.
We should have support mechanisms for the people because pamacha vira vatozongo extinguisher but audi kuti munozoti iwe blazi ndakatamba song yange pamuchato but ari kufamba nebhurugu rakatsemuka. No, you can't do that.
I mean, we've spoken about this story for even a lot of the big artists, Tich Mataz and all these people. Most of the time, these people, we have to end up putting money together to give them a decent burial.
But why?
You know, and I think maybe the National Arts Council needs to make sure that whoever is like affiliated to them is taking
all
care
stakeholders within this industry, whether it's National Arts Council, whether it's the ministry itself, even banks.
Right.
Banks,
yeah.
The ISPs. Nekuti pama ISP andindoba munoona ma video ana natio.
Yeah.
Kuti ninditenge data rekuona video nati whether it's Tel1, Econet or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's because my interest is to connect with my artists. My interest is to see how Zimbabwe is faring at AFCON. My interest is to share my life.
Right.
And to enjoy what it means to be a Zimbabwean. Ndichikupa imari mimi, but vanhu vacho vari kupa content musiyana now. It doesn't make sense.
Right. Yeah. It's
deep.
Yeah. It's a situation that we face. I think, to be a content creator, whether it be music, audio, whatever, it's tough. It's tougher in Zimbabwe than anywhere
else in the world.
You understand? So it's like I think it's detrimental to the development of the arts.
It is.
And I don't know who.
But we got to stand up. We got to stand up and do something about this. I mean,
true.
We're the ones who've been waiting for.
Right. So this is Tich Mataz in South Africa.
Yeah.
And then you came back home. Before we leave South Africa, what's your single biggest regret with regards to your SA situation? What could you have done differently?
I I could have interacted very differently with some of the people that I thought were family and friends.
Right.
My son is born in South Africa, he's a South African, things like that.
Right.
And at the time, there were a lot more reasons why I should have continued staying in South Africa than being booted out. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it was also a very important lesson for me, a very important life lesson, which has reformed and reconstituted the way that I interact and do business.
Right.
And all I can say is watch the space.
He keeps saying, watch this space. Lodza, what does this guy have under his sleeve? Man? This guy...
Teacher not gonna understand something project.
Mahora movie. Friday the 13th.
So I trust in Teach I trust.
Yeah. Like the Benjamins. Eh? In God we trust.
Yeah.
So there's something in the works? You're working on...
Definitely.
You're in the studio working on a banger. DJ
Yeah.
Khaled featuring everybody.
You know what I mean?
All right. So you famously spoke to God in May 2017.
Yeah.
Tell us about that conversation with God. And do you have his number?
You want his number?
I got some stuff.
Nash.
I need to
Ebimtaroti number. I'm one is 50K. And I should say it's a 50.
And you know, RTJs.
Yeah. The media is also driven by narratives. It's always interesting how people would rather read about a man who bit a dog than a dog that bit a man.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that happens every day.
It happens every day.
The other way doesn't.
You see, you know what I mean? Yeah. I was working at the time with a popular man of God, and he was trying to teach the people in church how one can concentrate, even with a lot of things around them, to a singular voice at any given time. As an example, if somebody calls you and you're in a nightclub, I don't know, but the room dindi full volume. No, Lodza, I can't talk right now. I'll call you later. So what will have happened there? It's somebody focusing on one particular frequency and shutting out the others in order to be able to communicate. That's how God communicates with people. That's how God communicates with us on a daily basis. So he was trying to prove a point of teach me up. Ndikufonere vana vachimba. Wakanzwa ndichitaura over wadichi ndakudza uchitaura ndokutaura kunoita
Saka una number yamwari.
Hello, Mari.
Come on, bro.
But mbana wewe anofana ndi baba ma royalties adini ka. Abana baba royalties.
But there are issues I'm done. Lord, I'm disappointed in a teach one boss.
Oh.
I've got a number yamwari because panwana rutsara mari.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, teaching happens and young Mari wakeshamani.
But imuru ziketere kuti nini manje ndakatopenga because mwari wachitourana zvakaipisisa.
Top shutter.
Top shutter. Yeah. Kana
uzida kuti image.
Do you know what I mean?
Saka urora kuti mwari andolika ma lips mari likira wende wena tega.
I gotta say this, you know, when we're getting ready for the show, as Nalodza, iwo ndo wakakanza mfano wangu wakamdzisa kungolika my lips, so Denny J, lips made for action.
Straight up, man.
Straight up, my brother.
Tunio.
Never grass.
Never grass. Yeah.
Lords, Nash and Lords said to me, like, we went out of South Africa too quickly.
Yeah, I think Denford is a bit biased today with this show. Because, I mean, that's his mentor, so he's not really going out with the questions. I think you went in a little bit too quickly out of Joburg. We really need to find out a lot of stuff about
so you want us to go back
the
to
nightclub business, the models, the girlfriends, the fights.
Hey, Miss Essays, the top models. Tell us, Tich, why disturb a piece?
He had a fantastic time, you know. Hey, Mwarariku, I could have been dead long time back.
Tell us a little bit more.
You know, new man, I used to have all kinds of places to hang out. I was the first guy to have a kicking nightclub, Rosebank, when South Africa was crossing over from being an apartheid state to an independent state. I had a famous wall where people used to, that young man, take my phone again and handle this business for me, man. So I used to do some serious private parties, man, with, some, and I miss South Africa, beautiful women. To 3 states in one weekend.
Yo.
Johannesburg. Tavarati Windhoek. Tavatati akana temple friends sometimes here and there Parare.
This is a true story.
This is a true story. This is a true story.
Years ago.
Years ago. Nema bola zemuno mbachira kubola.
Because he had that, was it drum? There was like a drum feature on him. The fat crib in Northcliffe, the beautiful wife. You were just killing it.
So when I went to the States, I met Shaquille O'Neal. And Shaquille O'Neal, because of his size, he was starting to ride in what they used to call off-roaders. Before they called them 4x4s. I then imported an off-roader into South Africa. I was the first guy to drive an off-roader in South Africa.
Yo!
And BMW took notice.
Right.
And they then brought in their very first 4x4, X5.
Yo!
And I was the first guy to drive it in Johannesburg, baby.
You're the first guy to drive the X5.
Yeah, I was the first non-performing athlete to be a brand ambassador for Reebok, South Africa.
Yo!
My first time I wondered,
Keep going.
I was the first guy who used to do 3-4 provinces entertainment. Say start off with a party in Joburg, get onto a helicopter. Same night.
Yo.
Go to Pretoria, and then go to Bloemfontein. Those around out Cape Town.
For real? Dog?
Yeah, baby.
Show. Crazy.
I told you this is some legendary stuff.
Tich Mataz, baby. Shit. Saka tichafa matamba nazo. Tichafa Augustine matamba nazo. Yo.
So Tich, at your peak, right? What sort of money are we looking at? What sort of money are we talking about?
Net worth, eh?
Your net
worth. Towers. Huh? What sort of numbers are we looking at here?
I was very fortunate to really get. When I first left Zimbabwe, I think Daitambira at the time maybe 2,000 Zim dollars.
Wow. I mean, like in
2,000 Zim dollars
terms, how much is that today?
Well, in the 80s, 90s, 2,000 Zim was possibly maybe 1:2, maybe thereabouts.
So it was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money, maybe 1,000 US. Yeah.
Nice.
When I went to South Africa at the time, it was 1:3, 1:3, I think.
Right.
And my first pay was 15,000. Right.
Equivalent to what? Like how much?
Like 5K or something.
Yo. Some good numbers.
Some good numbers, yeah. And then remember, I was a businessman as well.
Right.
I had a communications company, Kulumani Communications.
Right.
We used to handle a lot of corporate business there. I had an investment company. I had a nightclub. I was doing some really big deals.
Straight.
Yeah, at government level. Buying fancy cars. At one time, it was stupid on me, though. It was stupid on me. I had like 25 cars. 25 brand new cars.
What?
Convertibles. 25. But it was silly. I mean, it was silly.
Come on.
But you know what I mean? Now that I'm older. Because I had friends who would come borrow my car.
Did you multiply that by some figure? Like, can we divide that number? Like, what's the true number? Like 25 fucking cars?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean,
how many cars does Rick Ross have, bro?
Maybe 20.
Like Tich.
Yo, Tich. Come on now. 25 cars.
You know,
But it's easy though.
Can only cash. Can only go to you'd have my Mercedes, outer white, my Beamer black, my other, American cars, different color. But you're young and in your mind, Maria Ipere. Because remember, I was getting monies from all kinds of things. The nightclub itself, was silly though. I had a his and hers safe. You know, my wife.
Yeah.
My wife had a safe. Right, she had a jewelry designer. Look at this baby.
Yo.
Ndakatenga nemari yekuJoburg ichiri
kutenga.
Can I borrow that for?
Saka, you know, it's also an important lesson where kana usati wanazo unenge uchivaviwa ka usati wanazo unenge uchivaviwa then you realize that you can only do so much and you can only drive so many cars at any given time. 2, 3 cars, 3, 4 cars is good enough.
How many houses, Tich? Sorry to cut you off.
I personal houses. I had 3 personal houses in South Africa. For investment, I had neither maybe 5 or 6. So it was about maybe 9, 10 houses that were part of. And you see, at the time when I was going to Zimbabwe, I should have bought houses. Yeah, well, I did. I bought a few houses for my mother, my father, Chichichi. But I should have done my investment in Zimbabwe. But I also want to say, Guti, you see, the thing about investment, it's a mindset. Zimbabwe is a great place to invest, but we don't shout about it. As a nation, we must talk about what it is and what it means to invest in Zimbabwe.
But do you know? Okay, sorry to cut you off.
Sorry to cut you off.
But do you know that if you're to, like, for example, if you have $1 million and you wanted to buy a house in Zimbabwe, you're probably going to buy a very overvalued house compared to what $1 million can do in South Africa.
It's in South Africa, true.
And these are the facts. And this is why a lot of people are putting their money in South Africa.
I hear you.
Of course, the love for Zim is number one. You'd want to invest in Zim. But stuff is so overpriced out here, you know.
True story.
A basic crib in what's a decent neighborhood? I don't know.
Eastleigh.
You know, we'll set you off like what, 200? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And 200,000, if you put that in rand.
In rand, that's a lot of money.
That's like 3 million rand or upwards, whatever.
Yeah.
You get yourself a fat ass crib.
Yeah, true.
And so I think there's an issue of overvaluation in Zim. I don't know why that is, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. But of course,
every nation that's ever succeeded, they've succeeded on understanding their own commerce and creating their own economies.
Right.
There's enough for us here in Zimbabwe to really create a Zimbabwean economy that can feed into the surrounding, you know, states, your Zambias, your Mozambique, your Malawi.
Yeah, but the entry level for a crib in Zimbabwe is crazy.
Yeah.
If you wanted to buy a flat, just a normal flat, you're probably going to spend like 50K. Yeah. You put that in rand, you'll get yourself a decent crib.
Yeah.
In 4 ways or whatever, you know. So it's crazy, but I think people just need to understand that investing is important because you never know where things are going to end up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But you know, let's take it back to just being Zimbabwean.
Right.
Zimbabwean problems should be handled and solved by Zimbabweans.
True.
You know what I mean?
Are you going all political on it?
No. I'm going. I think I've gone through enough in life to understand that it's not a mistake that I was born in Zimbabwe.
Right.
Your brother stayed. He lives overseas. He's an American.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But wait, this is American.
But
The guy
loads of American
is a permanent
guys.
resident in the States, I guess.
Yeah, permanent res in the States. But he's always here. He understands that this is where this is where the action is. This is where the money is.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm trying to understand something. You blew up in South Africa. You're disturbing the peace. You're the man. You've got political contacts. You basically hooked up, right? After uncovering that you were working illegally, you were extended a Section 41 permit on too much. This is 1994, 95, okay. Giving you 2 weeks to wrap up your business commitments before being deported on 18 March. What do? You continued working. The conditions were that you stop working and you wrap up your stuff.
Never believe everything you read. They needed to report it in this manner.
Right.
To make it seem as if I blast you.
Because the story goes, Tich was given 2 weeks. This section 41. You know, usually when you get found on the wrong side of the law in terms of immigration, they just deport you straight away. But this dude, I suppose, it become that big, huh? And then they had to say, look, dude, we caught you offside, but we'll give you 2 weeks to wrap up stuff. And we're going. But I suppose, I don't know if the fame got to your head or whatever. You need to explain this, Tich. You can't just waffle your way through this one. Like,
No. I had enemies that really are.
But you worked in the 2 weeks.
No,
you worked at Bop and it was a weekend. These are the facts, bruh.
No. That stuff was pre-recorded. They saw me on TV. And they thought I was working, but it was pre-recorded.
That's your story.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to
it. Okay, all right. Because usually they don't do that, right? Like, if you get caught,
you're out.
You're out.
Teacher, I got one more check for the road.
Okay, so all right. So this is Tich, right? He has been deported. He's back in Zim. What does he do? Being the sharp dude that he is, he goes and he applies for a visitor's visa. You understand? Like a normal visa, like how you and I would go to SA, right? He gets a visa, and he's back in SA. So like how the fuck as Tich Mataz do you think you can just disappear? Because at the airport, they know this is Tich Mataz, right? Because the guy was disturbing the peace. He was there.
Glucose and everything.
Tell us about that.
No, man. It's
Tich, you're not going to run away by just saying it's player haters. These are the facts. You were deported, you came back, you went to the embassy, you said, "No, I'm trying to go to South Africa." You didn't tell them anything about what had happened prior, like the whole deportation thing. You said, "No, I'm just trying to visit, I'm trying to go to wherever."
There were specific immigration sections that allowed for me at the time to be allowed to get back into South Africa so that I could, if I wanted to, take the case into the courts of law.
Right. So
okay.
So there was clauses that could allow you to get back and then fight these niggas.
Yeah, fight and defend myself.
Right.
Yeah. However, after I spoke to various people and people I was doing business with then,
right,
they felt that it would not be prudent for me to turn this particular issue into a court issue.
Right.
Because of the magnitude of the name and the things I was doing, the people I was interacting with,
right,
they thought it would almost be as if, and that would not be very palatable with the people that I had created relationships with.
Right.
But also, there were a lot of threats to me and family and so on. And then one really important man said to me, Tich, kana poto ichi boila, akona urwisana nayo.
True.
Siya,
makes sense.
Ite say, iboire, yopora, ozovora.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
What do you do there, Batish?
That's Buddha. But I answered one.
No. So this guy is fast talking. He's like, no.
But Nash, the pindra one.
Yeah, we'll try.
That's right. Okay.
All right. So that was the end of that.
No, but we also need to talk, Denny. Sorry to cut you.
Sorry to cut
feeling,
you off.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you feeling at this point in time? You've acquired all this this big empire, and then to be told that in 14 days, Shadakwa.
Because you were running the show there, nigga.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's the sort of stuff, Nash. If it was you and me, and then we got into this situation, that shit would traumatize you for life.
Mm. Yeah, I thank God. I thank God. I couldn't have done it.
You're probably traumatized right now.
That is a therapist.
You know what I mean?
All in the chapel, Cuomo. Let's give him therapy. He's our guy.
Traumatized.
Tell us.
Most of the most successful people
right
in life do not work on the basis of emotion. Emotions are very fickle.
True.
You know, I can really be upset with you today, Danny. But after 2-3 days, I'll say, but Danny's my man. Why shouldn't I have done that?
Right.
So what a man has got to do is, no matter what situation arises, be able to control your emotion. Look at it in terms of, all right, what has happened? Why has it happened? How can I deal with it?
Right.
And I think that's something that I've been able to do over time now, and it has helped me maneuver.
Right.
And get about. Yeah.
So your status right now, if I wanted to take you to South Africa, can I take you?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go party.
You're clean. You're clean.
Yeah, I'm clean, babe.
Because there was a thing that because you were like a serial offender, you were deported, you came back, you were deported again, you were never going to be allowed back in SA.
No, but this is Africa, man. I'm an African. Borders are something that was prescribed upon the people of Africa
By the white
to
folks.
divide by the white folks.
You gotta go deep on the.
You know, shall I go?
Give you a mic.
Shall I go deep on my brother?
I think we have to be very careful with Tich because he will lead us astray like towers. Yeah. And you were saying about the whole church thing that Tich once started a church. Is that true?
Yeah. I think.
But
so.
I'll be great church.
Tell us about the Tich Mataz Ministries.
Tich Mataz Ministries. I mean, this is the ministry you got to come to. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll bring God to you into your house whenever you are. Can I get an amen?
Number, send the donation.
This is a donation. Yeah. Can everybody... Can everybody with $10,000 please rise before those with 5,000 or 2,000?
What do they call you? Prophet Tich.
Prophet Tich Mataz.
Prophet.
Tich Mataz.
All right.
But sometimes we know say God is good. God is out there.
Prophet.
Yes.
Tell us about the man of God, Paul Sanyangore. What's the story with him? Is he your man of God? What's the story there? What's your relationship like with?
I've been privileged to deal, walk, and interact with a lot of different men of God. I can name a lot. I mean,
right.
your Hubert Angels, who's now an ambassador, very successful businessman as well.
Right.
Your Emmanuel Makandiwas, your Sanyangores, and I'm encouraged in that they find some kind of value in me associating with them and their brands. And because of that, I think also I've learned a lot. One of the things that I really wanted to do was to understand how the prophetic works and how things of the spirit works.
Right.
And just by hanging out with these guys, you learn. Oh, this is how... Because the man is a spirit man before he is a carnal body. And a lot of people don't know that. Everything that is happening to you now has happened to you spiritually first.
Right.
You see?
Some deep shit right there.
Yeah.
Deep on us. You guys get it deep on us now.
Don't stop.
What to
Papa.
deacon
Don't
one?
stop, Papa.
Go deeper.
Go deeper.
Go deeper, Papa.
Yeah.
So there was no church, no teaching.
No.
Ministries,
My zitaracho nombonaka saka rinonakidza kana rine controversy saka vanonyora vacho vanongoti ngatinyore chitatanga church azodidi.
So can we get into the controversies now?
Yeah, cool.
Okay. So this is Tich Mataz. Are we done with SA?
Yeah.
Are we good?
I think we're good.
I think we're good.
I'm not explain it. My
My models. You know what I mean?
My models.
My models.
You didn't tell us about the models. And the bottles.
The model.
What was the name of the club? Mataz?
Mataz Connection.
Straight.
Those are arrogance, actually.
I got my wine. Yeah. All right, so you've had a string of run-ins with the law. Remember, the popular, notorious, for definition, you're legend. So, 2009, first Jetiram Komana,
I remember Jet.
Bakosi. scheme.
yeah.
Basic commodity intervention scheme. You know,
Yeah,
time
yeah,
yeah,
true,
Gideon
true,
Gono.
yeah.
Zanzi, Tich Mataz was contracted to supply hampers, tractors, etc. Through his company, Family Choice Private Limited. He was paid but failed to deliver. These are the allegations, Mr. Tichafa Augustine Matambana.
Unozorichi. Mukukura unosangana zvakasiyana siyana.
Next question.
We're waiting for this one.
One of the things that young people and young business people have got to learn in Zimbabwe and in other parts of Africa, you've got to institutionalize. So zokuti inofana kunzi Denny J and Sons shop. Ndezve chibaranzi. Iwo muridzi weCoca-Cola unomziva. Coca-Cola inonzi Smith and Jones Coca-Cola. Ndozo mtaura kuti but John awamukete ka. John Coke. Muridzi weSamsung unomziva. Muridzi weBMW unomziva. Muridzi weBenz unomziva.
Mr. Beamer.
Saka, what we've got to be able to do is, in any given situation, is when you're doing business, don't use your persona, your personality. Because when people attack their personality, they've attacked the business. You see?
But I mean, then you have other brands that have been built on a name.
Which one?
So it means the name is the brand.
No,
Wendy's or whatever. You know, I'm sure there's lots of brands that are built on.
You know, there are specific things that are driven by character. I mean, the Denny J show is built on you.
Right.
Your character, your individualism.
Right.
However, if you now want to take the brand Denny J and get Denny J to compete at a corporate level with another well-established corporate asset, you know, that's been pushing for many years. Put it a limitation. Saka ipapa but anchiri kudzidzira mazheti.
All right. Saka this one hana problem. Hana utinetsa on this one.
Aka supply kana dano supply.
Adaka supply.
Ayo, Zuza no supply.
Ayo, ndaka supply.
Eventually.
Topa Bible.
Unzai Bible.
So you eventually supply.
No, I did supply.
This was in the days of.
Remember, hyperinflation. Wakapiwa nasi mangwana.
Yeah, true.
But takambochimaya chakatobuda.
All right. Okay. Next jet. February 2017. Tich Mataz, allegation of smuggling to the tune of 538. Look, 538, I want to find out Tich. Tich would have just called me. They should have been able to swipe.
What's going on?
He's my guy. I mean, like, tell us about that one. February 2017, smuggling allegation to the tune of $538.75.
Yeah, no. Those things are the gift sometimes can also be a curse.
I think you forget how popular you are.
No, not really. Yeah.
Ndikapinda masina apo ndopinza mu extreme machine vona masina phayengo achienda pepe kuti vanotaura na supervisor ndokubuda ndobaya because handiziye but your Tich Mataz
ndozo ndikutaura kuti izvo kana yakureport kuti nyaya inamira inofana kureport yakadaro but kuti
ndozvakaitengese
mapepa.
But I was not answer yako.
No, that was sorted. It was paid for. It was merely. It was also, you know, an unfortunate misunderstanding. You guys have been in the fashion business, both you and your brothers, as a family, you've been at it for a long time.
Right.
And, you know, similarly, you know, I've had a brand and I do all kinds of things. Sure, Negati name Masutu. I think I got 5 or something, 8 or something. 5 Masutu.
So what do I want to buy to issue by airport?
So sometimes chizitacho chinogona kunge chichiku simbirira.
In this case, yeah?
Yeah, you know. Yeah.
Shit. Majeta agapera.
You see?
That guy is clean, yeah?
So I'm clean.
I thought
Majeta pana, good guy.
No, not bad.
No means.
So let's talk about television. There's a television, something that you were linked to. Some South African dudes who are doing something, a television. Is it a television? Something. What are you doing in terms of television right now? Is it JIT?
Watch this space.
JIT
Yeah.
TV. What's the story with JIT TV? There's JIT TV, and you're supposed to be rekindling one of your popular shows. It was a weekend, whatever. I don't know. Tell us a little bit more about that, because that's out there in the media already.
So we're doing Was a Weekend Reloaded. We're doing Venge Venge Reloaded.
Yo.
We are
I mean, like,
yeah.
how relevant? How relevant now with where media is, with all these streaming services and all this stuff that's going on? Like right now, the Denny J show is not on any platform that we're on YouTube, and YouTube is a big thing. It's a threat to a lot of terrestrial services. Wow, how popular do you think?
Imagine, Otanga, I need like 5 hours to explain,
got it.
because this is my
Just
industry.
roll, bro. Just roll. Because you know what it is with us? We're going to go on the ZBC and say, we want to start a show. We're going to come across some old balis. They'll be like, you guys will be swearing. What's the story with you guys? And do people even know you? What's your deal, whatever?
Yeah.
YouTube has given opportunity to content creators. You can start your own show. Anybody can start their own show and like blow up. You can have 1 million, 2 million subscribers, whatever, worldwide. It's open to everybody. Before, media was like a closed.
Yeah.
You had to know somebody for you to actually just get in.
Yeah.
With all this competition and all these streaming services and all this stuff going on, what is the future looking like?
The future is really bright. There are 3 types of content platforms.
Right.
Okay. There is the unregulated content,
Right.
which you find with all your social media handles and platforms. It's unregulated.
Right.
Except for specific places like China, where Facebook is banned. They shut it off. Yeah. And there's reason why. So each territory, Zaitawana Mugabe, is sovereign space. Okay? And what sovereignty means, it means that it's a protectorate of the culture, its beliefs, and its values, etc. Yeah? So if you come in and you want to do the things that we don't want, we won't allow for you, because we are sovereign. And the field of broadcasting has not been able to move as rapid as the technology that counters broadcasting. Why? As I said, initially a setup like this would cost you 5 million to put together. A studio was so expensive, but now you got digital cameras, etc. You can run your stuff, and it's just a few thousand, and you're running. So what everybody is competing for is attention, but attention also speaks to the value of the thing that you are consuming.
Right.
Okay, so what we're doing right now, we're going through a formative stage of digital platforms.
Right.
Yeah, but you've already seen that other societies have already started to regulate. As I said, China. China has its own Facebook, its own platforms. Instead of WhatsApp, you do WeChat.
Yeah.
Or things like that.
So it's a big
Similarly, Africa needs to do that. But what we need to stop doing is thinking that broadcasting is still closed.
Right.
And we must open it up and allow for people vatorine products, vatorine push, ne pull, and a Denny J. Bring them in and allow for them to work under an umbrella body.
Right.
Why? So that we can protect our past. Because broadcasting should be based upon, is it true or urunyeba? The lie can become the truth, because that is what people are hearing. And most of Africa is losing itself, its essence, because we've not been able to protect our sovereign airwaves,
Right.
and we've not been able to build what really should become the basis.
So in other words,
content
you're
delivery.
for censorship. Because a
It's
show
not an
like
old-
ours
yeah,
would be very difficult to broadcast in a terrestrial network.
not
Because
anymore.
occasionally we'll say fuck.
Yeah,
We'll
but
say shit.
can
Shit.
You understand what I'm
But
saying?
did you know when it's a bleeping a bleep?
But the autographed.
Ah,
Right
but
now,
remember-
you can be like towers, and you can say fuck, pussy. You can say all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's okay because the minute you try and regulate YouTube, it means you need to regulate Netflix and all these other mediums.
But do you know the agenda?
streaming
Do you actually realize YouTube and Netflix and all of them pane agenda? There's a specific agenda that people are starting to drive.
What's the agenda?
The of sexual orientation agenda. Have you seen that? So So over time,
I've seen Hollywood is like pushing. the
yeah,
whole
they're pushing
gay
for that.
narrative and
But is
all
it a
that
good
stuff.
thing?
No, it's not. It's not. You and I agree it's not. But remember, like
What you do sexually-
If we put the Denny J show on YouTube, we've got range. You understand? We've got people in Canada watching the show, in Australia. If we put the Denny J show on ZTV,
But Denny J, but you must Denny J, don't use the Denny J show as an example, because the Denny J show is actually a good show.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But what I'm saying to you is like reach. Yeah? Back in the
Okay,
day,
cool.
like when we did the original Denny J show on ZTV in 2003, we had to go through some old cats and try and tell them, like, we can actually do this and it's okay. One episode of the show, we did an episode of the show where I was wearing a wife beater.
Yeah.
Some old dude said, why is this guy wearing a vest? We had to reshoot. We had to retake that particular episode because I was wearing a wife beater. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The red tape.
Yeah,
Huh?
I guess.
It's bad for business.
Yeah.
It discourages
Yeah,
content
true,
creators.
true, yeah.
And this is where we are. And these networks or national television stations have not grasped the fact that this is where we are now. Tich Mataz or Nash can start a TV called Nash TV and just convince people to subscribe, and then he's got an audience.
Yeah,
This is where we are. And so to my question, when I say to you like GTV or any other TV platform that is terrestrial, that uses satellite or whatever, why do you think that the future is bright? Because the internet is like basically taking over.
yes, the internet.
Lots of people aren't even on DSTV anymore. They just do Netflix, they do Amazon, and then they're good.
Yeah, but izo zokutaura zveDenny J kuti Netflix, Amazon, these are products that are predominantly designed to showcase and entertain the mindset and the thinking and the lifestyle of the Western media and the Western world.
But
Like, why can't
that's
we
the
come up with our
aspiration.
own?
People like that.
No. But this is where we. This is where we come short.
if we were to watch a local sitcom, we're going to spend the whole time just pointing out, they could have done that, they could have done that, they could have done that. Because, we're doing stuff with limited resources. You understand? So we are always going to be, the sound was bad. You know what I'm saying? We just want
Let
to
me
watch
ask you.
equality.
In Hollywood right now, we have Tongai Chirisha. Chirisa. Tongai Chirisa. He's a Zimbabwean.
Right.
He used to hang out with us, Kulumani Communication, the young man, and now he's on Hollywood. He's killing it in Hollywood. We have Tandy Newton.
Right.
Danai.
And that's the one in Panther?
Yeah, Black Panther. Danai Gurira. All these people are international superstars and they're Zimbabwean.
Right.
Yes? Imagine if, as an example, the story, Black Panther, yakaitirwa ku Victoria Falls, ku Chinoi Caves,
Right.
all these fantastic, beautiful places in Zimbabwe, could it not have given us the position that we require.
It would have boosted our tourism.
And
definitely.
boosted our tourism, even brought us money, because I think they used like 700 million and they made like $7 billion from it.
Some crazy numbers.
Some crazy numbers. Why don't we start doing that? Why don't we tell people about the greatness of Munumutapa, Lobengula, Chaka Zulu? Why is that not celebrated? Why do you know that the richest man who ever lived in the world was Mansa Musa in Mali, and he was worth $400-500 billion? Almost, they say, if you really look at his wealth, he was the first trillionaire who's ever lived. He was African,
Right.
and this is the 13th century. So,
I get
why
you.
don't we?
African stories must be told by Africans.
Yeah, yes. African stories must be told by Africans. Africans must begin to gather themselves to create an industry. This is an industry. It's industry. Nash. We must make. Let's look at it. Let's see where we are weak. Let's see where we're strong, and let's make this work for everybody.
Tich Mataz. All right. Okay. Coming back to South Africa. Xenophobia. You lived in South Africa way back in the day. Xenophobia is a big thing right now. Our people are being persecuted, whether it be Zambia, South Africa. More importantly, I think South Africa. There's a push to drive our people out. Did you experience any of this, and what is your take on what's happening there?
Yes, it's. We are delaying African renaissance. We're delaying how Africans are meant to sit together and find solutions for Africa.
Right.
A political consciousness should be one of the most important things Africa deals with today.
Right.
Because if we're going to fight against ourselves as Africans, how are we able to fight against a foreign enemy?
Right.
If you're fighting with your brother, when a real bad guy comes to you, you're tired, you have no resources anymore, it's a mess. Africa needs to wake up to realize that Africa is for Africans. African problems should be dealt with by African minds, African think tanks. And before you know it, you realize that the very nature of Africans, Ubuntu, we work together, we live together, we coexist, we interact, and we continue to cross paths because our language is similar, our culture is similar, our belief is similar.
What I find fascinating is, especially in the context of South Africa, is the fact that whenever there's problems in South Africa, the South African people point their fingers to Zimbabweans, Zambians, Mozambicans, but never to the white man. Because remember, the white man came from nowhere and then they took over. The bulk of the wealth in South Africa is in the hands of the white people. But whenever there's problems, nobody points fingers at
it's a bondage.
you understand? Is it a question of education? What is the story? I mean, like, South African people know the history.
It's very importantly education. Education. There's been a lot of miseducation. The history that is taught to our kids today does not favor, African Renaissance or Africandom. The very fact that we allow for the perpetuity of this guy comes from Malawi, therefore
he's taking our jobs.
Taking our jobs, etc.
Because remember, before the white people came, there was no boundaries.
Yeah, there's no boundaries.
You could just waltz from.
We're all related. If you look at it, we're all related. I mean, you've got friends and family who are Zambian, Malawian, Kenyan. We're all related. We've intermarried. Listen, this is the modern day village. It caters for everybody.
Right.
You got people you got black people who have married Indians. You got black people who've married Chinese. You got black people who've married Americans, the British and the Russians.
Yeah. I think one of my I've got one of the letdowns. You've let me down, and I'll tell you why. When you came back from South Africa, we had a lot of hope because you had accumulated a lot of knowledge. You were in South Africa, you had done the rounds, you were set to transform Zimbabwean media. And I would have imagined that the most probable person to start a radio station, if anyone, was supposed to be you.
Well, I agree with you.
Why do we not have a radio station that was started by Tich Mataz? People believed in you, and even in terms of politics, you could have made it happen. What happened? Did you sleep on the job?
No. There was no political will for somebody like me to own part of.
Why? You're not
you're not
the
real estate.
You're not. You were the perfect candidate.
Yeah, I went and I saw the people there, and they said they were not ready for me. True story.
Really?
Yeah.
But were they supposed to be ready for you, or you were supposed to make them ready for you? Because remember, as business people, we are pushing to make things happen. Things are not just going to happen because you teach Mataz. It helps if you teach Mataz, because then they know what you can do.
All I can say, at the time, I was there, and then they said, no, you can't do it, but go and work with the Zim Papers. And I went and worked with Zim Papers, and we put together Star FM, from brick to...
Which reminds me.
Oh.
AC Lumumba, something happened. $125,000 was alleged to have been diverted by Tich's company. Tell us a little bit about that. Thank you for reminding me about Star FM.
Jet Master Flex.
There is a jet today, 125K na AC Lumumba, which I believe is why you left Star FM.
Yeah. It was not really that. There was just a bit of a misunderstanding. And it was audition Chesega. Pane allegation.
Right.
But allegation should be preceded by
V11.
By a conviction. So
there was never... True. There was never...
Nah. Almost.
Teach.
The guy sweet talks.
He's good.
The 125K issue was just an allegation.
Yeah, it was a simple allegation.
And then soon after that, you were back at the station.
Yeah.
So
this is how much they value your expertise.
Yeah. And I thank them for that. So one of the things I'm working on is a different platform, a broadcasting platform that we've been testing. We should be able to get it going and working in the next couple of months. So let's see how that goes.
So you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
That's all I can say. To protect those who are involved.
Denny J show anyway, it's kind of to chat.
The Denny J show. But ladies and gentlemen, I have a quandary. Mfana wangu. I see Denny J.
Yes, Tich.
Munemombe zangu. Lodza.
Oh, you're gonna take it there.
I'm taking it there. Munemombe zangu.
Okay, that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for joining
Subscribe.
Wakwasha wangu nakupera kubhadhara ndati ndoda mombe dzangu nhasi
next
wakomana nemombe dzangu wakwasha wangu on that note kwanasi takanga taita sei.
So have we finished grilling him? It was very difficult to grill Tich Mataz because yeah. You haven't told us what's happening right now. Your socials. What? Tell us what's up.
I was doing some work in Zambia with a radio station called QFM.
Yeah.
I'm doing in Lusaka, Zambia.
Nice.
So
are you based there or are you broadcasting from here?
I broadcast from here. I package some of the programs from here. But once in a while, I go through. We're working on an old school reunion show for QFM.
QFM, Tich.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about the work you're doing there.
As old friends of mine, we're doing some shows. I record some shows here. We're doing some entertainment as well in Zambia. We're going to be working on an old school reunion in Zambia in the next month or two. I'll let you know about it. You're invited. Yeah?
Nice.
We all invited?
Yeah, you're all invited too. Let's go and do a show there, Denny J show in Zambia.
So is
It's
this
a plan.
radio or is
This
this
is radio.
television?
This is radio. TV, we are working on something I did mention of air, but because we aren't ready to reveal. Yeah, but something is coming up, so we'll let you know.
So when you left South Africa, you did some work in Botswana. You did some work in Zambia. Tell us about Botswana.
I did some training at Yaron FM, and I did a couple of shows there.
Yaron FM is like the hottest radio station out there?
Yeah, it's a very hot radio station there as well. I also want to say, I've been privileged to have set up stations, and here and there I do training, broadcasting training. Right. It's always fascinating to see how the industry continues to change, and that the thing though is the basics of broadcasting still remains the same.
Right.
And so I love it when I share the little that I know about broadcasting with youngsters.
Right. And with the local radio stations, are you doing any work with Star FM, ZFM, whatever?
I've been doing a lot of traveling.
Right.
I'm consulting for a mining institution at the moment.
Right.
So I do a lot of traveling. So that's taken some time away from what I love to do best, which is broadcasting. But I do believe that by middle of this year, 2022, we're going to be back. Like we never left.
So we can look forward to Tich Mataz coming back on radio or television?
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. And your relationship with GTV, how's that going?
It's doing well. I do a couple of shows for them. We were waiting for some funding, which is coming in February. So you'll see a lot more from March onwards.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yo, Tich Mataz.
Thank you so much.
Nash, what have we left out? Are we good?
I think we're okay for now. I think we're good.
We got everything.
You got all the dirt.
Tell us a little bit more about your son.
My young son.
Into music.
Well, he grew up as the son of an entertainer, music and entertainment. He grew up meeting different kinds of people, even as a young person. So naturally, that part of his DNA.
Right.
Loves entertainment. So he's currently working at a mine. Like I said, I've gone into mining. So he wants to record an album by end of this year. He's done a couple of singles. Check him out. King Mataz. He's got a couple of really interesting vibes out there.
This is what, R&B or hip-hop?
Hip-hop.
Oh, yeah.
Hip hop cat.
All the youngsters are doing
Yeah,
hip-hop.
all that.
Quick
all the
question:
youngsters.
how many kids do you have, Tish?
I'm a happy father of 6 children.
Oh,
Because the Bible says, go forth and multiply.
Yes.
okay. You wanna tell us the ages?
Amen.
I
Amen.
know what tongue I'm in. Remember, I'm 35 years old.
Tuesday, Bali.
Hey, but I'm 35
My
years
age, Baba.
Eh?
But your firstborn is 35 years old. How old and how many of them are boys and how many are girls?
3 boys, 3 girls. Measurement, comrades.
Nice.
You got to be able to.
How many mothers?
Comrade.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Specific, bruh.
That's a good question.
Six
Six
by
kids.
6 women.
6 kids, 1 father.
6 kids by 6 women.
6 kids, 1 father.
My first bonus.
Mwana nutu wasarani. Denny J.
And I teach Junior.
Yeah.
February 4. Thank you so much for allowing for me to spend quality time with
I gotta
you
say, Dad has always, he looked up to you since way back. Because I've known this guy like for 40. How many years? How old are you now, Dad?
38.
Eh?
38.
For 38 years. I was doing
Mkaka.
and every time he say actually young, and go teach. Like I told you, I my lips.
Did he save us people with like big lip, bottom lip?
Yeah.
They're like, look.
I'm
like that dude.
what it is, Shashiri.
Tell them, Guti, if your chick passes by, she will feel the wrath of the vacuum lips.
Yes.
Yeah, bro, we run
And she'll
that.
never come back.
Yeah.
Hey, my one.
So, like, we grew up to Tich Mataz. And you're indeed a legend for a lot of people who started broadcasting after you. My love for television and radio and so on came from hanging out with you. I think I remember, like, it must have been 98 or 99, where I reached out to you because I had a campaign. You know, I still had, I think, the Fat Clothing
Yeah,
company.
yeah, you
Oh,
did, you
yes,
did.
yes. Kulumani.
So I got him to do the promo, the ads.
Shall you still haven't paid me? Danny, you still haven't paid me.
Baba's
Nash,
vitamins.
Nash, yeah.
We got him.
I remember that.
Do you know what I mean? He owes me lots of
Our
money.
legend.
You know what I'm
Collect, please.
Our
collect.
legend.
No. In terms of owing, you owe me more because we then.
Tambutora nyayemombe kazvizvi.
I think we then
Lots.
ended up doing some productions that never made it to TV.
Yeah, we did some really.
I think you were supposed to do breakfast. TV.
Yeah, breakfast TV.
You had a
Actually,
contract
no.
or
Do you know?
something.
Do you know what happened? We had initially gotten a contract to do breakfast TV, and you were part of it.
Yes.
You know, we did some shows,
Yeah,
etc.
Hot Weekend.
Hot weekend
yeah.
and so on. We did some productions, and then that's go.
Here goes Zimbabwe for you. But as Tich Anoko claim out, we got a cap for you, man.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah.
Show the
I mean,
camera.
no fear.
Yes.
Yeah.
He says it's from Fio, so we've given him a
Fio.
cap.
I don't know how I'm going to That's when I'm a V11. I don't feel.
I was going to say, no one knows you from Fio. I mean, we've spoken to our people there on the streets. They don't recall.
So
seeing
for that
you
Simba
in
body
Fio,
slam.
man. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm going to green.
Yo, Brugu.
This is my original hustlers.
Yeah.
Fio hustlers.
Plus Fio
Originated.
Fio was not my G's.
Ayo angari wakawanda. Aiwa.
My real G's ever cheetah.
No akawanda aiwa. But Cheetown ga
Mawani
is
gani.
aiwa Cheetown vanhu vaibva kufio vakutonogara kuCheetown.
But do you know that is true? That's true. You know our firstborn Mbabe Dagazar of you. Mom's Namdara Garawai.
Oh yeah, this
true. Yes.
So cheetah was like
Sort
a
of
new
Fio.
name.
a new neighborhood. Mro Fio original.
I'm going to check my stand because I do.
No wonder I'm so cheap. Tich Mataz.
Love always, love
You
always.
know what I'm saying? Like
Thank you,
we got
thank
mad
you,
love.
thank
We
you,
got
thank you,
mad
thank you.
love for Tich Mataz. Thanks a lot for coming to share your life story, the way you see it. You understand what I'm saying? Like we got so much adoration, respect for you. You've done so much for broadcasting, television, radio, and I don't get my flowers. They do coupe it, but you understand? We got that much respect for you. Thanks a lot for taking time to hang out with us. We really, really appreciate it. Do we have anything else?
I think
Ladies
that's
and
Tich. Thank you.
gentlemen,
Thank
the
you very much.
Legendary Tich
Love
Mataz.
always.
Thank you.
Boys, mombe zangu nasi panapa budwe panapa. Mombe zangu.
zvanga zviri down ta up tauraitigzwe nyaya dzacho dzese narrative ndaichidwe kana muchida kutipisa deep ndaipidwe make you spill a bean if you know what I mean hande
It's time!